In this podcast episode, Dr. Andrew Huberman hosts Dr. Paul Eastwick, a psychology professor at the University of California, Davis, to explore the science behind attraction, mate selection, relationship formation, and compatibility. Their conversation challenges many common beliefs about dating and relationships, particularly those rooted in evolutionary psychology and market-based perspectives. They discuss the dynamics of initial attraction, the influence of dating apps, the complexities of long-term relationships, and what truly sustains romantic bonds over time. The dialogue also highlights how modern social behaviors and cultural shifts impact romantic experiences. Dr. Eastwick critiques simplified evolutionary and market-based theories of dating, which often equate partner selection to a competitive marketplace based on perceived mate value, such as physical attractiveness or financial status. He explains that while these theories may apply to initial attraction scenarios, like meeting for the first time, they fail to account for how attraction and preferences evolve when people spend time together. Unlike the rigid numerical rankings used in experiments, such as assigning numbers on foreheads to simulate desirability, real-life attraction includes variability and personal idiosyncrasies, allowing people to perceive unique qualities in others that consensus rankings miss. The forebrain's capacity for complex thought, kindness, and strategic benevolence contradicts the harsher, survivalist conditions often implied by evolutionary narratives. The podcast dives into how people internalize perceptions of their desirability and how that influences interactions, especially in adolescence and early adulthood. The mate value concept is experienced palpably in settings like junior high dances or social events, where peer social hierarchies impact who interacts with whom. However, adults differ in their responses to these social cues, with more mature individuals prioritizing personal preferences over social consensus. Eastwick discusses phenomena like mate choice copying, where people base some of their attraction on who else is attracted to someone, but argues that meaningful relationships often develop from unique shared experiences and conversations rather than external validation. The process of slowly accumulating moments that reveal personality traits and build trust is crucial in forming attraction beyond initial appearances. The conversation touches on the disproportionate attention that certain individuals receive on dating apps, creating an unequal and highly skewed marketplace dominated by a small set of popular users. However, Eastwick emphasizes that offline social environments are far less extreme in this regard. On average, people only agree about attractiveness about 2/3 of the time, meaning there is ample room for variability in partner preferences. The apps also favor communicative, witty individuals, especially in texting, which can give hyperverbal people an advantage early in interactions, potentially skewing partner selection processes compared to face-to-face dynamics focused on listening and nonverbal cues. The apps operate to maximize engagement, often by attracting more women to balance the larger male user base, creating gender-differentiated swiping behaviors aligned with traditional evolutionary predictions. Dr. Eastwick and Dr. Huberman discuss how men and women differ in how they derive social and emotional support, with women typically having broader social networks and men relying more heavily on their romantic partners for intimacy and connection. This difference explains why men often appear more eager for relationship commitment and why women initiate breakups more frequently. Men's friendships tend to be more activity-based and less emotionally intimate, highlighting challenges men face in cultivating diverse support networks. Eastwick stresses the importance of men building social bank accounts of support, even if it is primarily through shared activities, to improve well-being and relationship satisfaction. The podcast explores the power of storytelling and personal narratives in forming attraction and intimacy. Partners often bond over unique shared stories, inside jokes, and small moments that reveal personal values and vulnerabilities. This depth of connection goes beyond surface traits like attractiveness or status and involves reciprocal self-disclosure. Eastwick highlights the value of deeper questions and conversations, such as the 36 questions approach, to facilitate getting beyond small talk and fostering emotional closeness. While many dating scenarios focus on impressing others with traits, True connection arises from genuine curiosity and shared experiences. Eastwick discusses how perceived similarity between partners matters more than actual similarity in traits or values. People tend to find commonalities with those they like, motivated by a desire to sustain the relationship. Even when couples differ in politics or preferences, they often downplay mismatches if those differences do not threaten the core bond. Actual measured similarity predicts relationship outcomes only weakly, suggesting that motivated perceptions and selective attention play a larger role in relationship satisfaction. This explains why matching purely on similar attitudes or demographics, as some dating algorithms attempt, often fails to predict relationship success. Contrary to traditional stereotypes that men prefer younger women and women prefer older men, Eastwick's research finds that when given choices, both men and women show a somewhat equal preference for younger partners. The typical age gap seen in couples arises more from who enters the dating pool and social conventions than from fundamental attraction patterns at the initial dating stage. Later choices, such as settling down, may reflect factors like intentions to have children rather than purely age-based preferences. The conversation critiques the notion of love at first sight or instant connection, asserting that most relationships form through a slow accumulation of positive impressions over weeks or months. Early impressions tend to be moderate rather than intense, with desire and attraction growing as people gather more information about each other's personalities, values, and behaviors. This gradual process helps reduce uncertainty and build accurate knowledge of a potential partner. Text messaging favors quick wit and verbal fluency, which may disadvantage those who communicate better face-to-face or through attentive listening. While texting can alleviate social anxiety by allowing individuals to craft responses, it also biases partner selection toward hyperverbal individuals. Eastwick cites research showing that couples' texting styles tend to converge over time, suggesting mutual adaptation. However, texting alone is insufficient to recreate the nuances of in-person interactions crucial for long-term compatibility. Participating in social groups and shared activities, whether sports, improv classes, hiking clubs, or community gatherings, provides important opportunities for developing authentic connection outside of superficial initial encounters. These group contexts allow people to experience each other's values, kindness, and behaviors in naturalistic settings, fostering attraction and compatibility. Non-work and non-dating specific activities offer low-pressure environments to meet diverse people and build relationships gradually. Contrary to common belief, Eastwick emphasizes that financial status is similarly valued by men and women when seeking partners. Men care about women's financial prospects as much as women care about men's. However, more important than income is whether partners share a sense of purpose and manage their time to nurture the relationship. The negative psychological impact of unemployment, particularly for men, may stem more from identity loss than from financial concerns alone. Overall, objective socioeconomic indicators have only modest effects on relationship satisfaction. Physical and sexual intimacy emerge as critical components for relationship satisfaction and stability. Feeling that one's partner is a good lover correlates strongly with positive perceptions of the relationship. Though sexual desire fluctuates due to life circumstances, it can often be rekindled through focused effort and quality time. The presence of physical intimacy fuels self-esteem and strengthens emotional bonds. Absence or severe decline in intimacy often cascades into broader relationship challenges. Being in a committed relationship typically triggers a cognitive bias called derogation of alternatives, where potential alternative partners are perceived as less desirable, reinforcing bond stability. While attraction to others outside the relationship is natural and not inherently problematic, acting on those attractions or secretive communications can threaten the relationship. Interestingly, some research shows that fantasizing about others can increase desire for one's own partner, illustrating complex dynamics underlying fidelity and attraction. Social media platforms such as Instagram increasingly serve as massive, cloaked dating environments where direct messaging drives much user engagement. This increased connectivity blurs boundaries and can increase opportunities for alternative attraction, thereby challenging monogamous stability. The capacity for following up with strangers online potentiates risks not present in the past, making social media a potential attack vector for committed relationships. Awareness and management of social media use are essential for relationship health. Breakups often invoke feelings of failure due to cultural narratives expecting "till death do us part" commitments. Yet, Eastwick encourages reframing past relationships as valuable chapters that contributed to personal growth and identity. Maintaining positive regard for ex-partners, avoiding negative gossip, and carrying forward lessons supports emotional health. Relationships that start early and allow partners to grow through key developmental milestones together often build strong shared narratives, which become sources of resilience. Despite pervasive stereotypes, research shows men and women generally want similar qualities in partners, including kindness, support, shared values, and emotional connection. Differences in stated preferences, such as men emphasizing attraction more and women emphasizing earning potential more, are less pronounced or absent when observing real-world partner selection or speed dating outcomes. Amplified gender divisions in dating often stem from cultural narratives and online interactions rather than actual mate preferences. The loss of traditional social structures and increased reliance on technology have altered how young people meet and form relationships. Eastwick advocates for increasing in-person interaction through organized social activities that encourage vulnerability, shared experiences, and repeated exposure to potential partners. These environments resemble the small group settings of ancestral social life, supporting the gradual building of trust and attraction. Organizing or participating actively in community events can facilitate connection and counteract social isolation. The episode highlights how texting favors certain communication styles, often privileging people who are witty and quick with words, particularly men, which may disadvantage those who excel at face-to-face listening and emotional attunement. This skew can affect who progresses in early-stage dating, sometimes creating mismatches between texting success and long-term compatibility potentials discovered in person. Eastwick shares that many new generation students express frustration with modern dating, feeling overwhelmed by technology, reduced socialization, and skepticism about traditional relationship narratives. Despite these challenges, activities that cultivate in-person human connection remain critical. He stresses the importance of patience, vulnerability, and engaging with others authentically, even amid a landscape shaped by technology and shifting social norms.